Gosh, man, it's almost like the San Jose Sharks heard me. Because their patented #1 power play unit defenseman, Kyle Burroughs, a guy whom I met twice in the past year or so, just an astounding human being. But a definite downgrade on the first power play unit compared to Erik Karlsson. He has now been replaced as the power play 1 guy. Because earlier today it was announced that the San Jose Sharks have acquired defenseman Calen Addison from the Minnesota Wild in exchange for Adam Raska and a 5th-round pick. And the 5th happens to be in 2026 too. This is an amazing trade for San Jose. Like, obviously, the assets involved, Raska, 5th-round pick, Addison, these are not the most important assets in the world, but for what San Jose is getting, for what they're giving up, this is really great. And it comes off the tails of them literally getting their first win of the season yesterday against the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, if you wanted to break this trade down, there's nothing really much to it. Adam Raska is the player going over to Minnesota in this situation. He's 22 years old, 5'10", 183, right-handed right-wing guy. Initially a 7th-round pick by the Sharks in 2020. So, a while ago, he was drafted. In the very later rounds, he was drafted. Good to see a guy taken in the 2027th round actually find himself in the NHL in some capacity. He did play some Sharks games the past few seasons. But really, Raska isn't really the biggest needle mover in the world. He did spend some time in the Czech League. He was all right over there. He was also okay in the QMJHL in the Mermuski seasons he had spent there too. But this really is just a depth player getting added to the Iowa Wild. He works hard, he looks hyper-competitive, and he's engaged. He doesn't hesitate to lay big hits either. He also generated a couple of offensive looks in the PK for his team. His timing and feel around the crease stood out. He seemed to be more into perfect space, in perfect harmony with the puck's movement. So, there you go, a pretty interesting pickup here for the Iowa Wild, a guy who's probably just going to be an AHL depth option, a call-up option once in a while for Minnesota. The 5th-round pick also getting sent over is nice for the Wild, but the big piece that I wanted to talk about here is Calen Addison, because if you've been a part of this channel for a while, you would remember actually we did make a Why I Want video about Calen Addison all those years ago. He was part of the original series that we had here. Yeah, it's the first one here. Why I Want Calen Addison 5 years ago. This guy is an OG. Calen Addison is 23 years old, 5'11", 172, right-handed defenseman, taken in the 2nd round by the Pittsburgh Penguins. He was sent over to Minnesota in the, I believe it was the Jason Zucker trade. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong there, but Calen Addison, when he was drafted, was a top power play defenseman in the WHL, point-per-game season, right-handed guy, quarterbacking that Lethbridge special teams unit to great success. He was a very good scorer in the AHL the seasons he had spent in Minnesota. He also had 29 points in 62 games with the Minnesota Wild last year, so a very definite puck-moving defenseman, as noted by his 26 assists and 3 goals. This year, he had 5 points in 12 games played. Not the best number in Minnesota, but of course, going over to San Jose, Calen Addison has a stellar opportunity here to do essentially what Erik Karlsson did. Pretty much be the only puck-moving defenseman on this team and be relied upon in every situation. I would not be surprised if the San Jose Sharks actually find ways to start scoring more now that they have Addison on their blue line. Because if you go over to this power play unit, I mean, Kyle Burroughs, no disrespect to the guy, I love this human being, he is a great person. He just wasn't it. Like, Burroughs was a tweener defenseman on the Vancouver Canucks last year. He was a great physical guy and he worked hard, but he's not a power play guy. He's definitely not somebody that would go out there and score you 20 or 30 points even in a season. He had 0 on the year right now. So even though he was the first power play unit quarterback, he's definitely no Erik Karlsson. Calen Addison, for all the defensive liability issues that he has, he's definitely an upgrade. What I also wanted to do is go over to the Our Hockey sub, because there are some interesting comments that talk about why this trade makes sense for the San Jose Sharks. This is a good return. The Sharks have 0 NHL-ready puck-moving defensemen. Anyone that can do this, even if they're bad, is an upgrade. Yeah, a 5th rounder seems like a pittance to pay to take a chance on a guy at a position the Sharks desperately need to address. Seems like a great deal for them. This is an astounding win for San Jose at face value. Notable defensive issues aside, puck-moving D-men with NHL-caliber offensive abilities don't grow on trees, especially not when the player is still only 23 years old. I don't know what caused the Wild to make this trade now, but I have to assume there are unreported reasons that we, as the general public, will likely never be privy to. Then, if you scroll down, there is another one here I thought was interesting. Wild fans, can you explain this at all? My understanding of Anderson is that he was considered a good prospect till last year, where he had significant defensive struggles in his first NHL season. I don't really understand why many would move off from him so quick for so little. I'm not sure anyone will be able to explain until more details are released, and even then, it will likely be a stretch, Mount Dewey replies. We, the Minnesota Wild, we re-signed Calen Addison to a 1-year extension, so maybe this is Bill trying to get something that isn't nothing, as he could have just chosen to not re-sign. Maybe Addison's camp wanted a trade, as he didn't seem trusted by the Wild staff and wanted more ice time. That's speculation. His strength was running the power play, but the staff have moved in a different direction, and he wasn't getting power play time anymore. It's sad to see him go, and I was hoping he'd pan out. I'm a little shocked we didn't get more for him if this tweet is true. Now, if you go over to the Minnesota Wild and their line combos, let's see if we can find that here on Daily Faceoff. Where's Minnesota? Here it is. Their power play unit does not have Calen Addison. In fact, their power play unit's really interesting. Their first unit has 5 forwards. Marcus Johansson, Joel Eriksson Ek, Matthew Boldy, Kaprizov, and Marco Rossi. That's crazy. Like, we haven't really seen too many NHL teams experiment with the 5-forward power play unit situation before, but Minnesota's doing it. And when they say different direction on the power play, they definitely mean different direction. Calen Addison was listed as their second power play unit guy, with players like Pat Maroon, Ryan Hartman, Zuccarello, and Vinny Lettieri. Now, no disrespect to this second power play unit, but when Pat Maroon is one of your second power play unit guys, it kind of indicates the talent level of that. I'm sorry, but still, Calen Addison is a guy who has proven that he can be a puck-moving option, and in a San Jose team that boasts 0 other puck-moving defensemen, Calen Addison is going to get an opportunity bigger than the moon and the stars. So I'm not going to say that you should go out there and take Calen Addison in any fantasy leagues that you're in right now, but it would not be the most illogical thing in the world, especially if the San Jose Sharks are able to actually start stringing together offense. I mean, look at this roster. Hertl, Duclair, William Eklund, Philip Zadina, they have guys. Mikhail Granlund has 1 point on the season. That guy's too good to be held off the score sheet for too long. Mike Hoffman also has 1 point in 11 games this season. If this team is able to start stringing together some semblance of offense with Calen Addison on the blue line, there might be some good value in taking Addison in whatever keeper leagues, or not keeper leagues, excuse me, just regular 1 season long worth leagues that you're a part of. Addison is also only 23 years old, so there's still some time for him to grow and become better. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about this entire trade here. I think this is a fantastic win for the San Jose Sharks, getting a puck-moving defenseman like this to replace Kyle Burroughs on your offensive power play and to just give minutes to. I'm not saying this is Erik Karlsson 2.0 right here, but this is definitely an upgrade, and this is definitely going to help out the Sharks. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Trolls 99, and bye.